Welcome to the deep dive. Our mission, as always, is simple. Cut through the noise, the sheer volume of information out there, and give you the knowledge you actually need. And today, well, if you've ever felt that kind of sinking feeling walking into a giant hardware store, maybe you're a homeowner or a renter, this deep dive is definitely for you.
Oh, that feeling is absolutely real. That information overload. You
Yeah.
see rows and rows of tools, you sort of recognize them, but you don't know what they do. And it pushes people one of two ways, right? Either they buy nothing, call someone expensive, or they buy this massive, 150-piece kit that just sits there gathering dust.
Right, that huge toolbox temptation is so strong. Okay, so let's unpack this. We really dug into the research on common household repairs, assembly, maintenance, looking for like the bare minimum needed for maximum self-reliance.
And what we found, what the data really points to, is actually a surprising shortcut. You don't need that whole workshop. Turns out, you only really need 5 essential tools to confidently tackle maybe 90% of standard household stuff. Maintenance, assembly, basic repairs.
That's 5.
Just 5. It really cuts through all that clutter.
Okay, 5 tools.
Yeah.
That sounds almost too good to be true, but I like it. So our goal today is to give you the blueprint for that ultimate minimal toolkit. We'll walk through each one, focus on why it's essential, and give you those specific tip-size features that make them really work. Let's start with maybe the most basic, pure power, foundational stuff.
Right. Tool number 1, the claw hammer. The research basically calls this the original multi-tool.
Okay, a hammer. I think most people just think, okay, driving nails, hang a picture, grab the hammer. You're saying it's more versatile.
Absolutely. Way more. The heavy head, yes, that's for driving nails. But that curved claw on the back, that's just as critical. It's for prying things up, pulling out nails cleanly, maybe lifting a stuck floorboard, sort of light demolition work. It puts things together and helps take them apart carefully.
Okay, but hammers come in all sorts of weights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tiny ones, huge ones. If I'm only getting one, it needs to be the right one. I assume the sources were specific. Why not just go heavy for more power?
They were very specific. The recommendation is a 16-ounce claw hammer, and there's a reason for that specific weight. See, anything much lighter, like a 12-ounce, trying to drive a standard nail becomes a chore, lots of hits, it's frustrating. But go heavier, say a 20-ounce construction hammer, and you get tired fast, especially swinging it overhead or sideways. The 16-ounce is just that perfect balance, manageable power for the average person.
Okay. That makes sense. Efficiency without killing your arm.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, if the hammer's about force, we also need finesse. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Tool number 2 tackles something that trips up so many home projects, especially assembly, precision, small fasteners.
Exactly. We're moving to the screwdriver, and this is where, that hardware store panic really sets in. So many options. But look, for most household things, you're mainly dealing with 2 types of screws, flathead and Phillips, and lots of sizes. So the absolute must-have here is the multi-bit screwdriver set.
Oh, yeah. I think everyone listening just had a flashback. 2 a.m., trying to assemble that bookshelf, digging through that little plastic case of bits.
Exactly. That one tool saves so much grief and space and money, too. You don't need 6 or 8 separate screwdrivers. You get all the common sizes. Flathead, Phillips, right there in one handle. Super convenient.
So it's not just convenience. It's really the core tool for tightening things up, securing things that move.
Totally. Its utility is huge. Think about it. Tightening loose cabinet handles, fixing wobbly door hinges, securing outlet covers. And yeah, absolutely every piece of flat pack furniture you'll ever buy. It gives you that precise control right where you need it.
Okay, that definitely simplifies a huge chunk of the tool aisle right there. Yeah. All right, let's talk about tasks that feel a bit bigger, maybe scarier for some folks. This next tool, number 3, it feels like confidence in a piece of metal. It could take you from calling a plumber for a tiny drip to fixing it yourself in like a minute. Here's where it gets really interesting. Plumbing and fixtures.
Okay, yeah. We're talking about the adjustable wrench, often called a crescent wrench. That's a common brand name. This thing is all about leverage and adaptability. It's basically your way around needing a big, expensive socket set for most home stuff. The jaws adjust so it can grip and turn nuts and bolts of many different sizes.
Wait, an adjustable wrench? Aren't those kind of notorious for rounding off bolts if you don't get the fit just right? Did the research not lean towards maybe a small set of fixed wrenches instead?
That's a really good point, and yeah, the research touched on that. Look, if you were doing high-torque work, like on a car, sure, fixed wrenches are better. But remember, we're optimizing for that 90% of household issues, common stuff. Tightening the drain nut under a leaky sink, adjusting a shower head, maybe a loose bolt on furniture. For those jobs, the speed and the universality of the adjustable wrench. It far outweighs that small risk of stripping, especially with the lower force needed for these tasks. It's fast, it fits most things, it's good enough.
Okay, right. So optimizing for the quick, common fixes, not rebuilding the engine. That makes sense. What about size then? Do I need a little one for tight spots or a big one for leverage?
Good question. For that useful leverage on typical household fittings, the recommendation is usually a 10-inch or a 12-inch long wrench. That length gives you enough leverage, enough turning power for things like that leaky pipe under the sink, without being too massive and awkward to use in tight spaces.
Excellent. Okay, 10 to 12 inches. Got it. 3 tools down, 2 to go. Tool number 4. This one isn't about hitting or turning or gripping. It's about prep work, planning. We definitely need a measuring tape.
Correct. The source is pretty much called a measuring tape, the essential planning tool, and honestly, it's the key to preventing some really costly mistakes. It's basically non-negotiable before you even pick up that hammer for almost any project.
Okay, seems obvious, but what's the deep dive insight? Like, what features really matter? There are tons of tapes out there.
Right. So what you want is a standard 25-foot tape measure. That length covers pretty much any room dimension, wall length, furniture size you'll encounter in a typical home. Going longer is just extra bulk. But the key feature, the absolute non-negotiable tip from the research, it has to have a good, sturdy locking mechanism.
Ah, the lock.
Yeah.
That's crucial if you're working alone, right?
Exactly. That lock lets you extend the tape, walk across the room, maybe hook it on something, and take your measurement without the darn thing snapping back. Essential for solo work. So whether you're measuring a room before you buy paint, checking if that sofa will actually fit before you order it, or just getting shelves level, the tape prevents those oops moments. Remember the old saying, measure twice, cut once.
Haha, yes. Very wise advice. Save time, money, frustration. Okay, that brings us to number 5, our final essential tool. This one sounds like it's about pure grip.
That's right. Tool number 5, slip joint pliers. The research often describes them, kind of poetically, as your strong fingers. They're designed for grabbing, bending, pulling, twisting things your bare hands just can't manage, especially in awkward spots. They basically extend your hands' power and dexterity.
Okay, but why slip joint pliers specifically? There are needle nose pliers, locking pliers, lots of kinds again.
Good question. The slip joint itself is the key. That little pivot point can slide, allowing the jaws to open to 2 different widths. This means they can grab larger nuts or objects than standard pliers, but they still work great on smaller stuff too. They're just more versatile for a basic kit. It makes them the workhorse gripper.
Okay, versatility. Give us some classic examples. Where will I really be glad I have these?
Think about pulling out a stubborn clump of hair from a sink or shower drain where you need to get a good, firm grip deep down. Or maybe grabbing a key that got stuck or bent in a lock. Or even bending a small piece of wire if you're doing a minor electrical fix. They give you that focused gripping power where you need it most.
Got it. Strong fingers for tough spots. Okay, so recap. Hammer, screwdriver, wrench, tape measure, pliers. That's the 5.
That's the core kit. Let's just quickly run through the functions again. You've got the 16-ounce claw hammer for power striking and pulling, the multi-bit screwdriver set for precision assembly and tightening, the 10 to 12-inch adjustable wrench for leverage bolts and basic plumbing, the 25-foot locking tape measure for planning, avoiding mistakes, and the slip joint pliers for versatile grip holding, bending, pulling.
What's really striking here, I think, is just how much you can actually do with just these 5. We started out talking about that overwhelming hardware store. But the truth is, armed with just these 5 tools, you, the listener, are pretty much self-reliant for the vast majority of common household issues.
That's exactly it. This lets you just walk past all the noise, the 50-piece specialty drill bit set you don't need, the power sander, the whole wall of niche wrenches you've got the 90% covered. The basics. It takes away the guesswork, a lot of the fear, and frankly, the potential cost of buying stuff you won't use.
Yeah, it totally changes your relationship with home maintenance, doesn't it?
From
feeling kind of intimidated to feeling, well, prepared, capable.
Prepared is the key word. So this deep dive showed that these 5 physical tools focusing on power, precision, leverage, grip cover, that 90% of physical household fixes. Which leads to maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to consider. If 90% of the physical problems can be tackled with this simple foundational kit, what's the single most essential non-physical tool? What mental preparation, what mindset is needed to confidently tackle that remaining 10%? The stuff that's unexpected or complex or maybe genuinely challenging.
Something to definitely mull over as you start putting together your own core toolkit. Thank you for joining us for this very essential deep dive into the source material. We hope you feel ready to tackle your next home maintenance challenge.